What's up, house groups? I'm coming to you from a brand new location because last week the Wednesday group accused me of filming house groups videos in the bathroom, which is not true. It was the band room and not the bathroom last week, but I just can't be letting these accusations fly, so I picked a new spot. It's a little bit crazy, but this is what you get when you say things like that. I love classic rock, and growing up, when I first started driving, I had a cassette tape player, and one of my favorite cassettes that was just kind of on repeat forever was Simon and Garfunkel live in Central Park. Just phenomenal album, and Simon and Garfunkel are great. And one of my favorite songs on the album was the song "I Am a Rock." It's a song about a guy who's suffering some pretty deep pain. You kind of guess from the song that he loved and lost and got left. But I think that the opening words to the first verse are really powerful. It says, "I've built walls, a fortress steep and mighty, that no one may penetrate. I have no need of friendship. Friendship causes pain. It's laughter and it's loving I disdain." This idea of building walls and a fortress that no one can penetrate, it sounds like a cute little song, but it's kind of a reality in a whole lot of our lives. In the places where we've been hurt, in the places where we've experienced loss and pain, I think we have this natural tendency to just start building up walls. To start putting walls between ourselves and other people, between ourselves and relationships that we might be invited into, because there's hurt and there's pain, we want to protect ourselves. And we use all kinds of different things as bricks to build the walls. I talked a little bit about it on Sunday, but we use withdrawal. We use control. We use anger. Have you ever met somebody who wasn't even angry at the thing that was right in front of them, but they're just taking out this anger from their past at the thing in front of them, because anger creates distance, and they're angry at everything even though they're not even angry? We use that. We use self-harm, we use humor, we use sarcasm, we use substances, we use whatever it can take, brick by brick, to build this wall, convincing ourselves that we're building a fortress so that our past can't get to us. When really what we're building is a prison so that we can't get to our future. And God is inviting us, He's inviting every single one of us to so much more. When we get wrapped up in our history, it robs us of our destiny. And to move past our past is not simple. It's not like an easy task. It's not 2 easy steps, a 12-step process even. It's really complex, but it starts with understanding who God says we are. With understanding that God sees us differently than we see ourselves, that God sees us differently than the world sees us. God sees us through the lens of what Jesus accomplished for us on the cross, which means that our identity is not wrapped up in what we've done, and it's not wrapped up in what's been done to us. Our identity is found in what Jesus did for us. And if we can start seeing ourselves the way that God sees us, then we can allow Him to do this whole new thing in us. There's this verse in Isaiah chapter 43 where God says, "Behold, I am doing a new thing. I'm making streams in the wilderness." I just love the imagery of that. Or streams in the desert, sorry. I love the imagery of God doing a new thing and making streams in the desert. Because to me it says I envision it and I see life where once there was only death. I think God wants to do that in our lives, in your life and in mine, in those places where there's death, where it's dry and crusty and cracked and painful, there's just no life in there anymore. God wants to do a new thing. He wants to breathe life and create rivers in those spaces that we've seen only pain and only death in the past. And He will. The catch is whether we'll let it. Whether we actually believe that He can, whether we actually believe that it's possible to get past our past. But God sees me differently than I see myself. He sees you differently than you see yourself. And if we can learn to see ourselves and our past through His eyes, then we learn that this big old scary past we've been trying to protect ourselves is a paper tiger. And it's a wall cutting us off from the future and the life and the purpose and the meaning and the love that He created us for. And if we could just get convinced that we are not what we've done, that we're not who anyone says we are, we're not even who I say we are, or we say we are who God says we are. We're children of God, created in His image. If we could just believe that at the core of who we are, then we could step out of the wounds of our past into the future we were made for. And God is inviting us to that this week.